Hello fellow space engineers. Today I'm gonna make a test that I'm gonna title the Sink the Bismarck or Sink the Yamato test. Basically is this big battle cruiser against repeated waves of fighters. I am using the Invaders mod by Arara, and so far it's given me quite amazing results when it comes to troubleshooting the ships that I design and basically how to place the turrets on them so I can have maximum coverage against attackers, both capital ships and fighter size. So let's wait until the first wave arrives and then we'll see how the cruiser behaves. So far I have discovered a few, let's say, errors on my part in turret placement. Mainly those two missile turrets there, side by side, which is becoming kind of like a big no-no, and I will explain you why. Okay, since we're talking weapons placement in this video, I figure I'd give you a rundown of this battlecruiser and how I have split the weapons according to its sections for maximum coverage. Let's begin with the forecastle or the bow of the ship, then we proceed to the midship section, and then we'll finish at the stern of the ship, which is, let's say, the backside. Okay, let's begin. So, at the bow of the ship or the forecastle, if we begin by the very tip of the whole vessel, we're gonna find these four large doors, which are meant to fire the player design or player made torpedoes, which are basically small ships or drones. But I'm not gonna discuss that right now. So let's begin with the close-in weapon system, or the CWIS, which is the very last line of defense that you have. Ideally, this is what you want to shoot down missiles. Right now, those Gatling guns are not really good at shooting down rockets, but I've been doing some testing that I will post in a different video comparing many of the designs posted on the workshop to let you know what is, let's say, the better choice that you can make for a mod that is gonna allow you to defend your ship in survival mode or against other players, especially against the vanilla rockets, which always seem to evade this type of defense. So for the closing weapon system, right now I have the vanilla Gatling guns, and they are mounted in this little stump that I call like a stump module, uh, CWIS stump module, which is mirrored on the other side. What this does, being placed at the very extremes of the ship, both fore and aft, it gives you a complete sphere of coverage. So any attacker is going to be engaged by at least 2 or 3, ideally 4 Gatling guns at the same time. So if the attacker comes from above, it's gonna get 4 Gatling guns, 1 on each corner of the vessel. If it comes from the side, it's gonna get attacked by 4 Gatling guns, like the pairs that are on each side of the ship. And same goes for an attacker that comes from below. So that's the main idea that I have with placing the CWIS system in this location. Then if we continue, we have these attitude control engines, and on top of them, top and bottom, we have the main battery. This large vessel has a main battery and a secondary battery. These are the Okim like heavy siege or heavy assault cannons. They come in a quadruple mount. They are amazing for ship-to-ship combat, especially if your ship is not as agile, if it cannot outmaneuver its opponent. You want to have this. The degrees of elevation, I think it has like a full 90 degree of elevation, as well as 360 degrees of rotation. So it's ideal for large ships. And some people may think that it's a little bit overpowered, uh, but in reality this is what you want in a spaceship. Many of the designs in the workshop are based on World War II weaponry, which is really like painfully outdated even by modern standards. So it might look interesting, it might serve as a reference, like for, you know, if you're like me and you're an anime fan, if you like Space Battleship Yamato, you'll find it cool looking, but beyond that, it's really gonna hinder your ship's performance when it comes to engaging fast moving large ships like frigates or corvettes. So that's the main battery. And as you can see up to this point, we have full coverage. All 4 guns can fire directly forwards, as well as the seaweed system. In this section, where the bow and the midship section meet, we have the built-in broadside rocket batteries, 2 on each side, top and bottom, for a total of 4 of them. Each one encompasses 4 of these vanilla rocket launchers. And right in between them, sandwiched in between them, we have the module attachment system with the broadside rocket module. So it's basically to complement the built-in broadside module. These are interchangeable though, so you could put another different module here if you want. Then towards the midship sections, and this is where I took inspiration from what I told you before. Basically the Yamato AAA battery. It's right in the mid section. It basically covers half a sphere. So it's not just 360 degrees, only 180 degrees, both elevation and depression. Continuing backwards, we have the vehicle bay, and here's where it gets interesting. This is the vanilla missile turret. The vanilla missile turret had many problems when it was released. It tended to blow itself up. Also, it tends right now to blow everything that is around it up, not the enemy vessels that are attacking you. Basically, your own ship. You're gonna get a lot of friendly fire from it. So that's why there's only a single one here. And after or behind it comes the secondary battery mirror on the bottom, and you can see we have this T-shaped configuration here. I used to have 2 of these missile batteries, but they ended up shooting the secondary batteries, the 122mm guns. So I discovered that if you want full coverage with this missile turret, you basically have to have only one per side. If you put them side by side, they're gonna destroy each other, and basically that part of the vessel would be defenseless. Now, as for the stern of the ship, we just have the same configuration that the forecastle has, the seaweed system. You see 4 on every single angle of the ship. Okay, that's it for the weapons placement. You have to take many things into consideration, basically geometry of the vessel. So I'm gonna show you a live test now. You'll see how these things don't work because of the place that they are in right now. Okay, there's a single fighter incoming. It's 1.5 kilometers away, and you'll begin to see the AAA engaging it. Okay, now to showcase what I was telling you before, single attacker, and already the turrets friendly fire themselves. So definitely do not place them side by side. Fortunately, it didn't happen on the bottom, although I can see some damage here in the middle. So they did fire into the hull of the ship. Now I have to say the same thing happens with this configuration here that I designed. The turret that is in the middle tends to be shot up by the 2 on the side, or If the attacker is coming from below, the turret on the top tends to shoot the two turrets on the side that are a little bit underneath. Let's wait for the second one to appear and see what happens. Ideally, when it comes to AAA, you want your vessel to be... Oh, it disappeared. Well, you want it to be like a porcupine, in a way. That there's no way of touching it from any angle that is exposed. That's why I put both the closing weapon system at the very edges of the ship, at the, let's say, the axis of the full rectangle that the ship is, and the AAA battery in the middle, so it covers half the hemisphere of a sphere. Okay, that one got away. Let's wait for the next wave to appear. Okay, this is what I was waiting for. Here comes the red type of fighter. I call it the Red Baron. It's the one that can cause the most damage because it has missile turrets. 4 of them, as you can see, in a really small package that moves really fast. So let's try to keep up with it as it attacks the cruiser. This should be interesting. Whoa. Well, apparently the cruiser was more effective than I expected, although it did manage. I mean, the Red Baron did manage to take out these bottom stern starboard seaways. And that is just one single red type fighter. So imagine if they come in waves. Over time you will need to either repair the cruiser or exit the area. Okay, let's see this from the cruiser's perspective. Oh, finally. As you can see, they can get really close without being destroyed before entering the seaways range, which should be the last line of defense. But it's really easy if they're going at full speed, and I guess if you install one of the top speed mods which make them go even faster, so you wouldn't be able to take them down unless you have a more effective closing weapon system or the rocket missile turrets. Okay, this is going to be the test for the main battery and the secondary battery. As I mentioned before, the main battery is located at the bow of the ship. It's made up of these quadruple 230mm turrets, and the secondary battery is a 120 or 122mm battery. It's made up of 4 of these smaller turrets. Although it is located at the stern of the ship, it can fire forwards in an over-the-shoulder fashion, following this line parallel to the spine of the vessel. The same goes for the ones placed below. For this test, I am using the capital ships provided by the Invaders mod, the vanilla version of them. I decided to use the vanilla version because they tend to be, less laggy in the way that they are a bit smaller, and they also seem to have like more of, the lower poly blocks that the vanilla game has. So but nonetheless, they will show you how a fast moving ship fares against these full 360-degree rotation turrets. Okay, we have an incoming drone. The main battery and the secondary battery are turned on. Now, in this mod, that drone is a large ship. It's just a really tiny large ship. So think of it as a large bomber. The sound is a bit off. Okay, let's gauge the AAA battery. Oh, they got it. Let's see. It got really close though. So, this is what I was talking about. I don't know which one did that though. Could be the main battery. Maybe the secondary battery shooting forwards. So, yeah. I'm removing this. Okay, this is what we were expecting. Destroyer squadron of 3. Let's see if we can bring all the guns to bear. Port side. Wow, it's actually 6 of them. Hmm. Just got interesting. Okay, let's see what's happening. So as you can see, the destroyer is shooting missiles at us, and the main battery is basically chewing it up. Okay, the other one is gone. destroyed this close-in weapon system. So that shows you just how powerful that Battlecruiser is. Okay, let's see what we have. Front thrusters damaged, some damage to the bow. We lost half the closing weapon system as well as some of the main thrusters. Hull breach on the starboard engine nacelle, some damage to the starboard module, hull breach in the mess hall, and one of the AAA turrets flying away. Okay, here comes the cruisers. Let's bring the guns to bear. Okay, this is going to be the cruiser duo. Okay, so we lost one of the top mounted main battery guns, and the bottom one got damaged. Same goes for the missile batteries. So next time we're gonna test this against a similarly armed and armored vessel.